This is Pretty Birds 2.0. I'm here to help you reconnect to your passion for life, change your patterns, and ultimately empower the grit you already have within you to thrive as a creator. I'm your host, content creator, media coach, artist, and owner of the Podcasters Forum, Jenny Renstadrup. It's our first episode, and I'm here to remind you that the beginning of anything doesn't have to be great. Today, I'll be sharing with you why strengthening your muscle to finish messy things is one of the most powerful tools that we have as a creator. Now let's get going. This is Pretty Birds and it's time to create. Do you recall the first time that you rode a bicycle? I bet that you fell down at least once or twice, unless you were that random kid who had pre-natural strength and was able to do it right away. If you picked up an instrument for the first time, or if you're a podcaster, the first time you wrote a script, I bet that the first time when you wrote as a kid, it wasn't necessarily perfect. In fact, I know you had to start off learning how to write a single letter. Everything that we know how to do as adults started off messy because nobody knows how to do everything when they first get started. Sure, I know that you have things that you're really good at that are easier to you than others. And a lot of times when we create, we like to lean into those pieces. We like to really play them up and play on our strengths. And while there's a lot of positive to that, we can't learn the game if we don't play all the way through. And we can't create a healthy creation habit if we're skipping out on or just getting comfortable staying stuck on certain elements of the game. Can you imagine if there was a baseball team and they never learned how to hit the ball into the air? They only did ground balls? I can promise you, they might be able to win games sometimes within that strategy and get really, really good at it. But they'd be missing out on a ton of opportunity in the long run. Why are you holding yourself back? The more that you are able to gain the confidence in trying different things that are not your strengths, the more that you're going to have the strength all the way around. Because what we want to build is a creative habit loop. And the stronger that we can make it, the better that we can be. And what's amazing about all of this is that it's only really you versus you. The only person in the process of creation that you're competing against is yourself. When we lean into the imperfect, it allows us to build our confidence. Confidence is built in a lot of different ways. Of course, there are elements that you're really good at and you don't really have any worries about. But just like anything, we need to be able to practice them and we need to be able to go all the way through them simply to know how the game runs. You have to be able to repeat that and to be able to go through the whole process, even if it's not right. When I was little, I played piano. And at the very beginning, I would play really, really fast. And I felt great about that. But my rhythm was off. So my teacher had me start using a metronome. But when I was using the metronome, I noticed the mistakes I was making. So I started going back to the beginning and start over every single time I'd make a mistake. And despite the warnings that my teacher gave me about my new habit, I still struggle with this habit to this day and have to be conscious about it. It's easy to have great beginnings and poor endings if all we're focused on is when we make a mistake. We're missing out on all the natural great moments that come up when we get into a rhythm. And we're sacrificing the bigger picture. For what? Saying a word wrong? I've experienced this a lot with my coaching clients, especially when it comes to voice work, where instead of just continuing through, they'll stop and then repeat the sentence over and over again because they want to get that particular statement just right. But we still have to actually finish the whole piece. And all of a sudden, we've lost our momentum and we don't have the same drive that we had before. The more that we do it, the more we get in our heads about, oh, I should try it this way, or I should do this. And all of a sudden, you realize you never finished the sentence. You never finished the thought. You never even finished what you were talking about in the first place. That voice in the back of our head is saying, we can't do it. And it gets a little louder and it comes out in the energy of the work that we're creating. That's definitely problematic, right? Last week, I celebrated 1 year sober, and I'm really excited about that. Over the last year, I got fit, I lost 25 pounds, I gained a lot of muscle. I rebuilt my body through PT and chiropractic, going to the gym, and I'm really strong now. I completely changed my eating habits. I got my life organized amongst a lot of other things. One of the things that I did was that I did a 75-day challenge. While I did a lot of pieces in that, 75-day challenge, one thing that I made a conscious choice to do was a single thing that I'd absolutely finish every single day. Before everything started a year ago, I had lost a lot of confidence in myself. So to make that one choice was really big for me. The one that I chose was that every night before I went to bed, I made sure that my house was picked up. See, I've always thought of myself as a messy person. I have ADHD. So I think of myself as disorganized. This is something that's pretty normal and common for people with ADHD. They experience messiness. I did that for 75 days and nights in a row. And ever since then, while my house isn't perfect, I've never experienced the same level of personally accepting myself for something that I used to see as a defining feature of me. It no longer just did that. It was such a strong feeling of confidence that came from that. The same thing can be said about whatever it is that you're stuck in right now. Everyone that I talk to has a different element that they struggle with, a different thing that they experience. Because if we're different people, we have different strengths. So we're going to have different weaknesses. We're going to have our celebrations and things we're really great at. But it's super easy to say, oh, I can't do that thing. I'm going to avoid it. That's not something that I can do. But the more that we say that, the more that we reinforce, I can't do that. The more that we drill it into our head, our negative biases are fed that we can't do that. But if we can finish that, say, yeah, I can do that. That's something I'm working on. It's a completely different statement. This is something that I'm working on, but I can finish it. All of a sudden, you've changed that sentence and moved it forward. You don't have to keep talking about the thing that you're growing because you know the stuff that you're good at. And you can say to yourself, this is something I'm getting better at. I can finish it. That is the goal. I want you to be able to finish it and have a sense of completion. I want you to be able to get through the script, even if it feels uncomfortable. So, first, we've gone ahead and said we're going to work on stepping into our messy starts. Then, we talked about how we're going to finish things so that we can build our confidence in the whole completion. Next, we want to learn to trust our intuition. There are going to be moments where you're going to need to stop and fix something later on down the line in your production process. The more that we can determine whether it's our nervous system that's freaking out or if our intuition is telling us that something's not quite right, the stronger we are as a whole. To do that, we have to build a different relationship with our nervous system around the things that we don't feel as confident in. So let's take a look at recording. I'm stepping into the session, and let's say that I'm really nervous about being on the mic. I don't want to sound stupid. This is one of the most common ones I hear, and that I support people in to help them build more confidence. Maybe they hate listening to themselves. That is a big element of it. When we practice more, we also hear ourselves more, and we are more comfortable with it. If we prepared ourselves more, we feel more confident. But how do we prepare ourselves? Well, we prepare ourselves by following through, by doing it. There are obviously elements that you are going to be able to refine later on. But when you're on a production schedule, you have to move forward. And there isn't always time to do the extra practice that we would ideally like to do in between. So we try to keep the goal, like podcasting or any kind of content recreation, or if you're a business owner, if you want to create that consistency, you have to let certain things go. All of us have the ability to grow. I have a million stories that I will share with you all about people who've overcome things that are insane to me. And it was because they said they were going to do it. There are ways that you can overcome all of these things. There are skills that you can learn to overcome any of these difficulties. But you can't do these unless you actually learn to follow through and can continue doing the process. Because if we can't walk through the whole process and go through the whole game, we can't have a consistent show. But we have to start off with where we are right now and the tools that we have at our disposal now. I can't suddenly invent for you a skill that you don't have yet. But if you don't step into it where you're at, we also can't finish the episode and put it out. What ultimately is your bigger goal? Let's come back to our voice again. Let's imagine that you're starting to speak, you've got your script in front of you, and you're feeling really nervous. in your gut, you might notice that you're having some butterflies and that your chest is restricting. So you have to remember that you need to breathe. If you start noticing that you're getting caught in your head, remember to take a breath and let your brain actually get some oxygen so it can think. That's your first step. Then notice where the feeling is coming from in your body. If your head is telling you things like, stop, 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 this is terrible, I want you to say to it, hey, I'm safe. This is okay. If it's something that you're experiencing anxiety around, your mind, your brain is going to tell you to stop because it's trying to protect you from danger that doesn't exist. There isn't a cougar coming after you. It's saying, this cougar is after you, but there is just not a cougar coming from you. There is just a mic and you speaking. Let's just get through it today so that you can have that feeling of accomplishment to finish. Tell it that you're staying. Tell it that you're okay and all right. Then go back to where you left off and continue moving through your production. Whatever your intuition is, go with it. Have the confidence of a little kid who is about to jump off the high board of the pool. He is giving caution to the wind, giving his parents a heart attack, but he is having so much confidence, and that's the amount that I want you to have. Give it every ounce. Go with it. Who cares? Just move through it and keep going. And when you finish, reward yourself. Whatever it is that you feel good about, whether it's going to the gym or visiting with friends, watching a show, having some chocolate, something that you really love. That's great because that was brave. You actually finished it and you deserve a reward. You're going to have the ability to gain ability in those things later, but the more that we can reward ourselves, the easier the creation process is, and that a habit form is going to be developing. We don't want to make it into something that you're going to dread, into something that's not fun for you. I believe that you have the ability to move through these things and have it be a positive experience. This is simply where we begin. It's going ahead and finishing something, no matter how messy it is. It's showing up at the mic, writing an intro, putting things onto social media that you haven't done before. It's going ahead and standing in front of the camera for the first time. I believe in you, and we are going to celebrate our wins that are imperfect. Thank you so much. I'll be back again next week. I'm Jenny Wren-Stotrup, and this is Gritty Birds. You can follow the show on any of your favorite pod players or watch it on youtube.com/grittybirds. And you can find out more about the show at thepodcastersforum.com. You can follow me on socials at the Podcasters Forum on Facebook and Instagram, and Gritty Birds Media on Instagram and TikTok, and finally, Gritty Birds on Twitter. Head on over to thepodcastersforum.com. I've got some freebies for you over there if you'd like to join our mailing list and have episodes straight to your inbox. And to find out more about how you can grow as a creative and excel with your voice. So that's me here with my messy beginning, and I can't wait to see where this show leads us. I promise you, we've got a long ways to go. I can't wait to see what I think of this episode someday when I'm at number 300. But the point was that I did it, and that's all that really matters. I'll see you all again next week. Stay creative.